All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another workshop with Lobby AI. My name is Abdulaziz Akanbi, the commission manager for Lobby AI. And here with me, Lekan, a senior product designer from Givers. The workshop is on design system for scalable products. Lekan is a product designer with over 5 years of experience, driven by a Kaizen mindset. He firmly believes that with consistency and continuous improvement, one can achieve anything. So please let's welcome Lekan in the chat section. Over to you, Lekan.
Oh, thank you, Aziz. I appreciate the intro. I don't know if everyone can hear me.
We can hear you. I'm sorry for the background
Oh,
noise. It's raining over here.
yeah. Oh, no problem. Thank you for the intro, and I'm really glad to be here. As you said, my name is Lekan Okeowo, and I'm a senior designer in Divas Labs. And I call myself the Kaizen designer because I believe that with consistency and continuous improvement, one can literally achieve anything that one is looking to achieve. Because at the end of the day, when you keep doing something and you are consistent with it, it turns into an habit. And once something turns into an habit, it comes naturally to you and you can achieve anything. So I have over 5 years of experience. Let me share I think before I continue the intro, let me share my screen so I can start showing some slides that I've created already. So please, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. So we are talking about design systems for scalable products, a practical workshop on building and managing design systems. So as I was saying, the agenda for today is in four parts, which is the intro, the breakdown, and then hands-on session and question and answer session. So in this workshop, we will explore how to build a design system, manage and scale design systems that enables consistency, efficiency, and collaboration across teams. We'll also walk through a hands-on session to create a mini design system. Now, coming back to the intros, I just wanted to show what coming back to the intro, I just wanted to show what this workshop is about, so we can all get a glimpse of what we are coming here to do. So I chose to talk about this because I'm a senior designer and I've climbed up that ladder from being an intern to an entry level designer to a mid level designer to a senior designer currently that I am, and I've seen how design system has helped organizations scale their products across a very large set of team and a multifunctional team. So the idea is that um, whenever you design, you don't just design based on your mood, or you don't design based on what comes to your mind. You need to be consistent, and you need to ensure that consistency shows all through the design. Because at the end of the day, users would notice when there are inconsistencies and all of that. Now, talking about design system, what is a design system? A design system is a collection of reusable components guided by clear standards. It helps teams to build products faster and with consistency. It includes design tokens, typography, colors, grids, UI components, and documentation. So a design system logically is like saying these are the set of standards you must use whenever you are designing my product. It spans across, as I mentioned, tokens, design tokens, colors, typography, grids, UI components, and even documentations. Because you can design a design system and there will not be documentation on how to use them. Because someone can come there and not understand what he is seeing. You need to document what you've done. So whoever is using this, and mind you, a design system is not used by one person, it's used by a diverse team. So there'll be several individuals in the team trying to use this design system, and they need to come there and understand what they are seeing so they don't get lost. So a design system communicate all of that and also helps your design a solution. If we don't have a design system, it means that it will take us a very long time to create the design because we need to start from scratch in defining the colors, defining the typography and everything. But if we have a design system, we just need to start designing because we'll just be taking components from our design system. So a design system is a source of truth for designers, developers, and even the product as a whole. Everyone involved in the product because it is easy to say, oh, okay, what are the parameters we used? What are we supposed to use here? It reduces the back and forth. It reduces the questions that needs to be asked when using a design system. So let's speak in depth about benefit of a design system. It allows consistency across all screens and platforms. So remember when designing, there are screens. Take for instance, you're designing for a mobile phone. The measurement and sizes you use, like text size, font size, button size, input field size, modal size, is not the same as what you will use for a tab or not the same as what you will use for a desktop system. So you have to ensure that your design system has components or styles for all screen sizes. So talking about all screen sizes, you need to have like a reusable component that can be scaled in different proportions, maybe reduced or increased so that it's any screen. So the product designer you need to have the background that's too small, is not too big, is in between. But if you use it on a desktop design, it looks too tiny. It looks like a text that someone will have to struggle to read. So a design system helps you understand the kind of font you're supposed to use, the kind of font you're not supposed to use. But imagine like we don't have a design system and we are three people trying to collaborate on a file. I like using 12 pixels on mobile and somebody likes using 14. There will be inconsistency. It might be negligible, but the disparity will occur when you come to a desktop screen size of font. Some people like using 16. There'll be disparity. Some people might think 12 is fine. Since they use 12 on their mobile phone, it should be fine on desktop. But it is wrong because there's disparity in the sizes. And you need to know when to use the smaller size font or a bigger size font or a thicker size font. Same thing with your buttons. You need to know when to use a bigger button. You need to know when to use a lower button, a small button. So that what we call consistency across board. Because I designed the landing page, when you want to sign up, the sign up looks like you traveled through another portal. Because there is no consistency, that's what will happen when you don't have a design system that is concise and precise on how to use it. Now, talking about another benefit of a design system in an organization, faster design and development workflow. So take for instance, as I mentioned, we have to design an app for a logistics company because we do everything on, oh, let's just design as the flow comes. We will not have documentation. We will not have any source of truth in the sense that, oh, what did we agree we are going to use here? What was the standard that we are going to use? What's the industry standard we are using here? Because I learned in a different way. You learned in a different way. Even if we went to the same boot camp to learn or acquire the design skill, activity is different. You might tell me to design a car, and I'll design you maybe a Tesla Cybertruck in terms of visuals, and someone else will design you a Ferrari because he likes something curvy and then slopey. But because I designed the Tesla Cybertruck with sharp angles, it means that my own imagination is different from that other person's own. So that's why I said with the design system, we can be consistent and also have a faster design speed because we already have all the base components. All we need to do is just follow that standard and start creating based on what we are trying to achieve. So we already know we don't need to create buttons, we don't need to create fonts, we don't need to create colors because they are already in the design system. Just take them and use them. Now, talking about development of workflows. The development of workflows just involves how the workflow goes, talking about how the pages will transition from maybe onboarding down to logging in, then to the landing page and the mobile home screen, or let's say a website or something. So that workflow needs to be consistent because sometimes some people don't know where to start from when designing. They just start from anywhere. But if you have a proper workflow that you can create, so the development workflow will be easier. So you don't go and create pages that are not needed yet when there are some that you need to create first. So the development workflow will be consistent also because the developers will have consistent UIs to work on, will have consistent components to work on when they are developing. There won't be any discrepancy when they are developing because whatever you create in design is what the developers will definitely follow. Only on maybe minute occasions or rare occasions, that's where you will see a developer follow another flow based on maybe development constraints, and which is something that actually happens in real life when the implementation is going on. Now, the third benefit of having a design system is easier maintenance and scalability. I know the workshop session talks about design system for scalable products. So, talking about the scalability now, scalability in the sense that, oh, my organization is a mobile only organization. We only have mobile apps. But, or let's say, okay, my organization, we only have desktop designs. We don't have mobile screens. Take for is looking to now scale down our products into mobile devices because we noticed that most of our users are struggling with the desktop because they have their mobile phone through the mobile phones more. So why not create a mobile screen for them or a mobile app for them? Scale it in the sense that because you have a design system, you can easily use those same screens you have and create something for mobile. You don't elements and components for design system in a scalable format whereby all the elements are like with defined states. This is where you should use that. And it will be easy for you to scale it. If they say you should change a screen from desktop to mobile or a mobile to a desktop, it will be easy to do that. You don't need to bring in something foreign because to break the consistency you are trying to achieve. Now, talking about easier maintenance. So, believe me, a design system needs maintenance because the world keeps evolving, and because of implementation constraints and implementation concerns that I mentioned earlier, you might need to tweak your design system. Something might work when you are designing, but in implementation, it does not work that way due to maybe a certain API or the endpoints that they are using, and the developers are using, and you have to recalibrate what you've designed to accommodate the changes they've made. Because if the developers come to you, you are in a Scrum team, and they say, "Oh, we are trying to implement the landing page, and we have only socials. Don't you think we should use email?" Because you designed the landing page using only socials, you said no, socials only and all of that. But at the end of the day, they convinced you that, oh, we need to have email also because sometimes some people might not be in social media on any social media platform and they want to just sign up using their email. You tell the developers, okay, go ahead and implement impute field. Believe me, the developers will definitely bring in something foreign that does not align with your design system. Then the input fields will be looking different from what you created in the system. So that's why, as a designer, you need to go and update your design system or update the design itself to show that, oh, these are the input fields that the developers will be using. And the developers will then make sure it is consistent with what they have in their design, I mean, in the implementation. So it is easy to scale, and also it helps you maintain your implementation process and everything. So a design system is something that is very diverse, and there are like a lot of reasons you need to have a design system or have a design system that works in your organization. So the fourth one will be better collaboration between design and development team. So speaking about development team and the design team, there is like a cordial relationship between the development and the development and design and development team. The design team to like the and everything. But at the end of the day, design is not to a developer or the development team because a design that is not consumable by the developers is not a useful design. Let's be frank. So you can achieve a useful design by using a design system to create this stuff and now create this design. And now when you hand it over, developers will not call you in your sleep when you are trying to maybe take a siesta or trying to do some other thing. They will not call you back and say, "Oh, the button, we can't find the over state, we can't find the default state, we can't find the disabled state." That's where a design system comes to play. it allows us create all versions of what needs to be done. Like in terms of oh, we need to create when creating a button, you already know you need to create a default state, hover state, a several states to ensure that when the developers are implementing, they would be able to solve all of that when they have need for it. So they know that, oh, the design system, those are already there. I will just update our DB with that. But if you don't have a design system, they will start assuming, developers will start assuming. Before you know it, one developer can implement a button with, instead of the color changing to show that it is over, they would make it a stroke at the edge. I mean, and if there are two developers, one does a stroke at the edge and the other one does like a change in color to show that it is over, that means there's discrepancy already. When they are now demoing the final result, that, oh, this is what it looks like. Discrepancy means that there will be more work time, and believe me, development and design is a very fast-paced stuff, and you need to manage all the time you can get and use it for something very, very, very productive. So a design system helps you get better collaboration between the design and the development team. It cannot be overemphasized, because as the world keeps evolving, your design system needs to change, and you need to meet up with what the users want and what your end users intend to see or intend to feel when using your product. So the key elements of a design system basically includes typography, color palette, spacing. Design tokens can vary based on what you want inside of it. So you can have like font sizes, colors, shadows, padding, UI components like buttons, cards, modals. Um, Most times the design system, actually I've used Adobe XD, I've used Pixel, I've used Balsamic and the likes, but Figma still tops the table for design system management and consistency in sharing resources, because there's like a way they did their system that you can call on components from any file based on the fact that you created it as a design system and published the project. So Figma holds like ground for it, and I'll be demoing some of how you can create some things. Because we have limited time here, it will probably be fast, but I will try my best to like show you reasons and how and why you need to do some certain things um when um when designing or trying to create a design system. So currently we'll be the hands-on session is about to start now, and the first thing we are doing is creating our primary colors and typography. So I'll be switching to my Figma board to show how we can go about that. So there are like several ways to go about creating a design system. So this is Figma. I'm sure most of us are already familiar with what Figma is. It's a design tool that we use to create designs and collaborate with developers to achieve a product. So currently, I opened this file. This file is empty. I only inserted some of these headers to show us what we'll be creating, basically. Now, if you notice, a design system is supposed to be something that when you enter inside of it, you will not look lost or feel like you've missed something. So whenever I'm creating a design system, I have two options. Is either I create it from scratch, which takes a lot of time and it keeps growing. A design system never stops growing, because the more the product evolves, the more components you might need, the more you might want to correct something, the more you might want to change something because of certain constraints, like, oh, maybe in terms of implementation, they couldn't implement that due to some certain technicalities and all of that. So you need to keep evolving. So there are two ways to go about it, as I said. Either you create it from scratch by yourself and brand it towards the company or the organization's branding scheme. So which includes their fonts, their colors, and the likes. Or I go to the Figma community. There are some, let's start from the Figma community because it is easier. There are some companies that their design system is free in the society, I mean, online, where you can take some things from them and products. That is like the easier way, but sometimes you might I want to design an e-commerce platform. I know that some companies are specializing on some companies specialize on e-commerce. So I will look for design system that is related to e-commerce kind of design. So I can start searching in the Figma community. And once I put design systems there, I scroll through a bunch of options. You can be more specific and put design system for e-commerce. So you'll see the results that will come out to be specifically for e-commerce related designs. So maybe we should just go back and we should put design system for e-commerce. So hopefully it gives us something good, or you have to search through manually. So there are other websites you can use for there are other websites you can use for creating design systems, checking for design systems, or getting resources for a design system. So, but this is like the first option I try out, which is using the community, because sometimes everyone comes here to publish their resources, and it is actually very safe and something that you can get with ease instead of scouting the internet and taking a lot of time. So if you notice, oh, this is Shopify. I know Shopify. Shopify is kind of like a very big okay, let's try and search for Shopify designs. Is it in the US, I guess? And their design system is known to be very good because it is one of the leading e platforms on in the world. So if you imagine you want to design an e-commerce solution back in your hometown and you're looking for inspiration on how to go about the design, you can easily come here and see design systems related to Shopify, and you can easily view it and get inspiration and probably download it. Take for instance, you can see here, this is not actually from Shopify, this Shopify, but someone has actually remixed it in the sense that they added a few things to it. So you can use material design, you can use untitled UI and the likes. You can actually buy a design system that is specially customized for your needs. But we are designers, we should be able to do it ourselves because you can't pay your way through everything. So take for instance the design system, I want to preview it and see what it holds. I can actually save the file from here and to save in my Figma. But that's like one way to get a design system. But if you are keen on creating a design system from scratch, you need to be able to be consistent and create it from scratch. So let's create a design system for, let's say we want to create a logistics company, just something simple, and we want to use what font and typography style you would like to use for it. So let's say we want to use the Satoshi fonts. Let's try. I know the font is tiny. I'll zoom into. Okay, let's just use the dummy text. So let's say I want to use this font for it, and I want to use this font, and this is the font I intend to use. So let's change the font from Inter to maybe Satoshi. That's what came to my mind. So if you have any other one, you can use it also. So this is the font I intend to use. But this font, if you notice, there is no typography or definition of variables that is going on here because you've not created anything. So ideally, there are two ways to go about it. Is either you use a life is easy. Believe me, I believe in working smart, not working hard, because if you work smart, you can actually and do the right things. You can actually achieve what you are supposed to achieve working hard in like years. You achieve it in like minutes or weeks because you work smart. So let's take for instance, I want to start creating tokens for this text. So I will have to start. I will have to start duplicating this text. Explain what I mean here. Let me explain what I mean. I want to create large, extra large, and the likes. I have to start duplicating the text, which is doing it the manual way, and we barely even have time. So let's say you are in a real life scenario and your company needs this so fast. So ideally, if you are a designer, you shouldn't be creating it from scratch because it will take the whole time, except you have time, and this is specifically like the task you are given. So you have to start saving these components one after the other. By clicking this, then you see something like yeah, what we are trying to achieve is something like this. But all we need to do is you now click this and say, oh, what's the name of the font? You can call it regular Excel. Then you put a description. Maybe use this for body text during um, use this for body text, then you create it. Automatically, the token is created. So if you notice, if I select outside, that token is created here. Can you see it? Showing that, oh, this is the size I created. But this is like stressful to do. Before now, before there were several plugins that one can use for all of this, one needs to be creating everything one after the other manually. But there are better ways to go about it, which is where some plugins comes in play. So there are several plugins you can explore to help you create um, um, to help you create fonts and typography. So you can search for typography. There is a specific one that you can see typography. There's a specific one. Yes, see this one now. There are different types. Well, let's just pick one and use. I think the network is it's slow. So instead of creating it manually, which will take forever, you can use generate your better playouts. There's one called type scale. I've used that before. So it makes everything faster. So while this is loading, we can just it's taking a while to load, which is weird. Okay, we have the plugin. Sorry, I think my network went off for a while there. Can you guys still hear me? Hello, please you can drop comments if you can still hear me.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my network went off. I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. So we um can you see the type scale brings up this. So you don't need to start creating this. All this that I did here that took me like a while to do. If you check this background, the one we have here, that took me a while to do. This can easily render is you can set the base. So base can be the base can be a certain amount, and then the system starts scaling it for you, which is the plugin starts scaling it for you based on what your preference would be, the line height, the line height, the spacing, and everything. So if you notice, this is the demo text to generate using that. So if you notice, this is the first one I created here, which says regular Excel. So if you use this plugin to set your values, so if you make it 14 as the base, if you notice, it change, which my highest value will be 53, and we can change it again to like maybe make it 10 as the smallest. It reduces it, and if you make it 16, it increases the size of everything. So you can define all of this using this plugin, and when you click generate, the system automatically creates these fonts for you, creates the token, and also gives you like a type sheet that you can use. So automatically, this has saved us like maybe hours. Basically, this one is no more useful. The one I created manually. This is now what is in vogue and what I would be using. So if you look at this is like literally the system created, it has created it for us. Sorry about that. It has created it for us. So you can now use this to start generating your token. So it has already created like the size for you. all you need to do is start generating the token. I've seen other designs, other plugins whereby when you're creating your token, when you generate it, it generates the tokens alongside. But this is going to stand as a source of truth to know that, okay, this is your base and this is the kind of fonts you need. So depending on how you tweak your font sizes, the better results it will give you. So for now, so we don't spend all our time trying to create fonts, but this is what it looks like to create fonts and the way. Now let's talk about projects you are working on. Some projects might be specific about the font combination they want to use, so you can do all of that. If you explore the plugin area, of Figma and see different types of plugins you can use to create type scale, or you decide to do it manual, you can achieve all of this in like seconds, or depending on how fast you are or how precise you are in what you're searching for. So let's move over to colors. Colors is like the one of the essential parts of product designing, and colors communicate a couple of things. You need to have several colors when designing. Aside from primary and secondary colors, you need to have like other complementary colors like accent colors. So let's say we are using blue, this blue that we have here as our primary color, which is this color. You can use the blue to generate other subcolors. Then you start generating accent colors like white, gray, black, other complementary colors like green, red, and the likes. Those are colors that you use to complement your design to red. So that's why a vast number of colors down, because you can have several shades of red, several shades of green, but you need to specify what should be used. So people use different colors and it start looking like the design, a page is from two different people. That's where this design system comes in play and helps you manage consistency. So let's take, for instance, I want to create a color palette. Ideally, if I'm to do it manually, I will definitely show you the manual and the faster way to go about it, so you don't end up spending all your day creating colors. So let's say I want to create primary color. I have to duplicate this because I know that I'll need like 7 to 9 shades of this color. So I come here, I create about 9 boxes and I start naming them. Okay, I'll start putting in the color. So I'll start putting in the color. Maybe I put in the primary color, which we have here, this blue. I'll start changing the color. Well, most times I go to material design, my material design system, and start copying the color code, which is the manual way, and it is very, very strenuous. Why not research, help yourself out, make life easier for yourself as a designer, because sometimes speed is important when designing. You come here, you search for foundation color generator. This is one of the best out there, actually. I've used it a couple of times and it has worked for me. It comes to foundation color generator. Can you see that it's already showing you different shades of color? You can select what kind of design system you want to use. For this demo, let's use material design kind of colors. I come here, I select it. Automatically, the system has like different shades for you, but I want to be precise. I want to use this blue that I have here as my primary color. The system will automatically generate colors for you. Now, if you notice, blue 500 has this box. It means that that's my primary color. Every other shade will be added to your palette, but your primary color will be indicated. And then you can start creating your colors. So now let's say I like this blue. I like what it has generated for me from blue 50 to blue 900. I want to use this color for for this design that we are about to do. I go ahead and I say, create style. Create style. The system will automatically generate the style and paste it on this board for me. And then, create style. System automatically generates the styles and also you can create palette out of it. I can see it has automatically generated the palette for me. Palette meaning that it has created like a documentation telling me that, this is like the blue 500 is my primary. This is it. Blue 600, 700, telling you the color codes and how you should use them, literally when you're trying to enter the codes. But it takes it a step further. It takes it a step further whereby, aside just you can create tokens. Tokens in the sense that the blue has created all the tokens for you because I did it twice. That's why the colors are looking double. But it has created the tokens for you. So let's take, for instance, I want to start filling these colors here as a designer. The manual way we've done this, I want to start filling colors. I have to go and start doing copy and paste, and all of that. But if you look at this gray, I want to change the color. I can easily come here, and if you notice, these are my colors that I just created. I can see their names. I can use them to start designing already. So this is blue 50, this is blue 100, this is blue 200. Because I use this plugin, it has saved me the hassle. And whenever anyone is using it, you will notice it carries the name already, telling you that, oh, this is what you're supposed to use, or this is where you're. So if you are communicating, you will not say, oh, what color did you use for the primary color? You say, oh, you start calling code like 2E71F3. When you can say, oh, our primary color is 500. The person will understand because it is in the design system. And if you are talking about blue 500, can you see it? The system has already recorded it down. And when you're communicating with developers or any, you're handing off this file to maybe a junior, a fellow designer or anyone in the team, they understand that this is our design system that we've created. Let's go ahead and create one more. We'll just create a primary color. This is for primary. Let's create another one for red. Maybe we'll use that for warning or error. Let's create red. Now, if you notice, because I typed red, the system would generate a palette. Let's see. It's supposed to generate a palette for me using red. Let's get a color for red. Let's play around with this. So we'll get a color for red. So the system can generate red for us. So we can use it for our demonstration. So this red is fine. I'll tell the system, create a token for me. Let me just create. So if you create style, so automatically red 500 is our primary color for red when we are, and these are the accent color. I mean the shades of red that we have that you can use. Now, if you notice also, we've not gotten our documentation for it, so you can easily say, oh, palette for it. Palette meaning that it needs to provide me the documentation that I can use to reference it when I'm trying to share share this to other designers. Can you see it has generated our palette? So this can be a very neat way of you creating a design system without stressing or doing things manually. Time is really running now. We need to go forward really fast. So that's all for colors. Mind you, we've created colors already. Can you see our colors that are here? We've created fonts already. Now, if you talk about icons in the sense that, okay, whenever you're designing, iconography is important because I've seen scenarios whereby you are designing and then you see different shades of icons. You can see some people use a broken icon, a regular icon, a two-tone icon. Meanwhile, icons are supposed to be consistent because they convey a certain type of message. So if you notice, this icon pack is very, very robust. It has every and any type of icon you're looking for. And you don't have to go elsewhere to say. Material design icons is different from this icon sacks icon pack. So if you combine both, there will be errors. Imagine using this home button. If you notice, this is their home button design, home icon design. If you check that of material design, theirs is way different. So there will be inconsistencies in your UI, and you struggle to deliver a perfect product. So whenever you are trying to look for icons, ensure you stick to one and you stick to the exact type. There are different types of icon, as I said. There's bold, there's stroke, there's regular, there's two-tone, there's broken icons, depending on what you're looking for. Take, for instance, this is how I create and I get icons whenever I'm looking for icons to use. So I come here, I come to the community again because the community is at your disposal. Some are paid for, some are free. Try to use the free. And also, I know some people use plugins. The plugins are not very effective or efficient for me. Talking about plugins, I can come here and I'll search for icon sacks or Iconify. Can you see this? Iconify will show up a plugin that allows you shows a plugin that allows you select the kind of icon you want. Can you see? It shows you that, oh, this is material design, this is solar, and this is and the likes. So if you open this now, you can see different icons. By the time you start searching and all of that, you select the one you want. You have to be opening the plugin, and it opens as fast as your network will be. This is stressful. Why not just import the entire icon and have them at your disposal whenever you need? So take, I want an icon set. I can go and it will show me all the types of icons I like. So you stick with the icon pack that you select or you intend to download. So
Hello, can anyone hear me? I wanted to confirm. Please, if you can hear me, can you just indicate in the chat section? Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, all right.
that um, it's happening. Okay, so going back to the icons, I can easily search for these icon stacks and then get the icons and start using them in my projects. I don't know why this is not bringing up results, but that's basically the name of this icon pack I selected. So talking about cards and modals. So when you're designing, you need like cards and then modals for describing success, errors, and the likes. Sometimes people design them from on the fly as they are designing, but ideally you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to use a precise measurements for it. So most times what I do is so let's say I want to create a card of like maybe 320 width and the height to be determined using sorry, the height to be determined using auto layouts, which is fine. So let's say I want to design a model for success. I can easily come here to my to my um, to my design system because I pasted all the icons I need, and I can easily come here and paste the icon here. So let's say I paste this. Mind you, there are other ways to get it. You can get it from the Figma community, but we are building our, remember, we are building our design system from scratch. So I want to create a success model showing that, oh, the transaction was successful or something was successful. I can create several types, but depending on the inspiration. Um, so I create something like, oh, success, and then I create a body text to just help tell them what exactly the success is. So I can create a body text that says, oh, description text. So I can actually use the fonts. Remember, we created some fonts based on our earlier conversation. You can use any font here to just describe it. So let's say you created this one as maybe semi-bold, and you see that it affects this. 1 second. I think my network is still a bit bad, so it's not taking effect yet. Because I'm trying to illustrate how I created this typography here, showing it in use. But in order to save time and not be behind schedule, I will just do this manually and show what I'm trying to say. So if you make the header text maybe 16, and then the body text can be 14, ideally the design system is supposed to show all of this because it's part of why you are using the design system. The colors also needs to reflect. So let's say you are using by default, I noticed that Figma gives you like some tertiary colors and primary colors that you should use. So you can actually play with some of them when you can and all of that. So I think this is responding now. Oh, okay. So if you notice, The token we created is working now. I think the network has started allowing it work or something. So if you notice, it's working now. So I changed this semi-bold large, and this one is the body text. Body text are supposed to be small. So basically, I can change the body text to maybe regular. Let's make it 14, normal 14. Can you see? It's going to change, showing you the. Can you see the difference now? So now we already have that. That's like part of the consistency I'm talking about. So if you notice, the success is here, and this. So now you need to use like color to show their hierarchy, to show that oh, okay, this is a different color from that one. So we can use like many of these. That's why I said you need to create accent colors. Accent colors in the sense that they will help you complement your design when you are using them. This is too light. So if I had created all the color codes, it would be easier to manage. Then this also you can use like a normal dark shade of the black to just describe it. Some of these tokens are like part of the ones that I made down Figma. So you can create a success message that looks like this. This is just a description. Mind you, it would have been better. It would be better than this if there was more time. But let's use the primary color, which is the blue. Okay, we have to use green because it's a success message. Some people tend to use green, but because it's a success message, just use a green that would depict that yes, this transaction was successful. So you can decide to define your corner radius. These are part of the tokens you need to create also. Corner radius can be 8. And mind you, you need to define the corner radius also. Those are part of like the consistency pattern you need to follow. So everyone knows what to use when they are trying to design. So this you need to scale the size. Icons are always typically between 16, 20 to 24 pixels. Those are part of the documentation you need to put out there that oh, whenever you are using an icon, make sure it does not go below 16 pixels, 20 pixels, or beyond what you want to use it for. So it is appropriate. Remember, you will be designing for both mobile, desktop, and tablets. So different sizes for different screen sizes. So basically, this is what the success model would look like. We we can adjust the spacing in between so it does not look too far, and then this can stay in the middle. And we need to have like a closed icon. This is just a dummy model. We need to have like a closed icon, an X that will show that yes, you can close the model from here because you cannot show a success model without an opportunity for them to close it if they are moving in a fast-paced manner. So you can have this, and now this is where the sizing comes into play. So this is 20 because it's a mobile screen. You can make it 20 since it's 24, and then you can maybe change the color to like something lighter as I said, change it to something lighter using one of the color codes that we've created. So you can make it maybe lighter gray. This is too light. These colors are like the ones that Figma is okay. Okay, this is it. Okay, so you can make it 500. And then this text now that we found the gray that we created, we can use this success color and make it we can make this gray our success color, we can make it 800 while the body text is gray 500. So mind you, I'm mentioning the names because it is quite important to know what you use to register them so you don't start looking for what is not lost, like so you don't give yourself extra work. So basically, this is like a typical success model. It could be better than this, but we barely have like enough time to start doing something extravagant and all of that. So this is just to show you the basics of how to like use design system to maintain consistency. Now that you have created this model, you need to make it a component so that whenever it is being used, it will be called upon and not just so there'll be a parent component in case you need to change anything. So moving forward, there needs to be input fields, there needs to be buttons, buttons in the sense that you need to create buttons that, okay, maybe for carrying out action. So I kept this here earlier on because we would need it to create buttons. So let's say I want to create a button and the button is supposed to say um, proceed, or because this is a design system, we can just put a dummy text there that says maybe actually proceed, and we create our button. By ideally, you can get this from the Figma community, from a design system that you decide to use. But if you want to create it from scratch, you create a button by using auto layout. So it's something that you can actually rescale and all of that. So this button now, I want to make it this is the base component. So we can call this one the default one. and you have to create different sizes for both mobile and desktop and the likes. So this proceed button, you can use the default text that we created. Remember, I mentioned that we created some text into the system, text tokens, and then if you can make it maybe regular or not, sometimes people call it regular or normal, depending on what the standards of the company is or whatever product you are using to design. So ideally, if you notice, this normal means that we use this design system and what we have in our design system. Now, this color is still empty. We can use our blue 500 because that's our primary color. You can corner the radius and make it 8, depending on your style of design. Make it 8. And also, you can create tokens for variables for your corner radius. These are example of the ones that you can find in the Figma without creating any. So this is default. Now, remember I said that there are different very different versions of the button you need to create for different screen sizes, and there are different states. So this is the default state. You can actually create like other states. So you make it a component and you create other states. Other states in the sense that I call this default. You can call this over. You can call the next one uh, selected. You can call the next one deleted. I mean disabled. So this one we call it over. We can call this one selected, and we can call this one disabled. That's the state. So if you notice, they're all looking identical, but ideally, when you're hovering on something, the color is supposed to either get darker or get lighter. But in this case, we'll make it lighter. Now, we call this one selected. It means that when it is being clicked, it needs to show like a sign that yes, something is the cursor is on me. So we'll make it 600, showing that it is darker. But ideally, by default, it will be on default state. Disabled meaning that oh, the button is not in use, and we need to um, the button is not in use, and we need to like show that the status is disabled. So I when you when you are doing that, you need to just indicate that the button is inactive. So inactive button is always like a button that does not look like you should click it. So they are always looking grayed out like this. So when you are using this, you'll be able to call on all of them. So now take for instance, because we are fast, we are kind of like behind. I'll just demo a design showing how to use the design system we've created. So I want to create a mobile screen for let's create a mobile screen for let's use 13 mini. And we want to create like a um a splash screen. So let's say we want to create a splash screen and we kind of like want to bring in a button and some image. So we put in this here to show the image, and then you want to call on a button. So remember we created buttons and we called it let me see if I name the button. So we are supposed to call these buttons, and we want to bring in this button. Maybe we'll call it button, primary button. So we can call this in and actually use it. So ideally, some people will just go and start creating a button here again. It is not meant to be that way. That's why you have a design system. So you can come here, come to assets and search. You can come to assets and search for your buttons. Mind you, you don't have to design from the same page your design system is. You just need to create something for a scrap. Can you see? This is the button we created. Can you see it? This is the button we created. You can just drag that button in and bring it here. And this is what your button will look like, showing you that you brought in the button. And the button, it shows that it is default. So you can use the button and scale it the way you want. Mind you, this is a component, so it is going to work out as you want and how you intend to use it. We can decide to make this background, instead of the FFF, we can make it blue 500. Can you see? Because I created it in my design system, it allows me to just easily do it. Can you see how fast we've been able to come up with this in just a very short span of creating the design system? So in actual sense, I wish I can go further than this. Design system actually helps you achieve design faster, in a more reliable way. It makes your work faster in everything that we do when it comes to design, and also it makes handoff with the developers easier. So I wish there is still more time to do more, elaborate more on the design system, but we are We are almost towards the end of the time, and I would like to take questions, or I'd like to hear from everyone that has been listening, because it's been like a nice conversation so far from my end, and I would like to ensure that these have made a point, or communicated with everyone on this call. So I don't know if there are questions currently, so I can maybe answer them, or shed light on anything anyone would like to ask. So please, you can drop the question in the chat box, or you can maybe unmute your mic and ask a question. So please, can anyone hear me? Are there any questions? Are there any concerns or anything that anyone would like to ask?
Please ask your questions. And I'm thinking probably we might have to like have another session later if they want, because I can see that they are already enjoying the session.
Yeah. Okay. Please proceed. Okay. So for what we have here, most likely we might have to do like another session where we target specific parts of the design system, like the so let's say when we can target specific parts, in the sense that we might take more longer time to do the typography, take longer time to do the colors, because I know sometimes some people struggle to like use or generate colors because they don't know which to blend with, or how to get them into the system and all of that. So that's why we are starting with this first, to see how everyone is faring, and how everyone copes with creating a design system. So with what I've demoed here, I know this is just a tip of an iceberg on what a design system can do, or how you can use a design system to scale your product. But this is just an insight, and we can have like an in-depth session, workshop session, where we can talk more about all of this. So with all of this that I've said, I would like to say thank you for everyone that has attended this today. And you can feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or on LinkedIn. My name is Lekan Okeowo, and I'll drop a link to this slide. So in case anyone needs it or wants to reach out to me, you can use it to get my socials, and maybe drop a message for me or reach out to me. So thanks everyone for joining. I'll hand it over to the facilitator.
Right. Thank you so much. It was a honor honoring it was a honor having you to speak to our community. I know a lot of people have been facing some challenges while designing, and having you speak to our community is one of the good things that happened to the community. And we're even thinking of probably starting a mentorship class later. It will be communicated if they are interested. But then I think we should have, okay, someone is saying they have another question. Okay, so now I'll allow you to speak soon. But then this session is recorded and is going to be posted on YouTube. Just stay tuned for that. So Zulekha, please go ahead with your question. Hello. Look, are you still with us?
Yes. I'm here. Sorry. Please, I have a question. Okay, sorry. Let me just take the question. I'm reading it out now. Hello, please, I have a question. Do we have to do all the design system for all screen, or one will do for all? So if I'm getting your question right, do we have to do all the design system? Is when you are creating a design system, you just need to create one, and you will be able to scale it. That's why there's components, and you have to create different variations. Variations in the sense that if you create, let's say, a modal, remember the modal I created, I called it a mobile modal, which means the modal will be too tiny for desktop. So when you are creating that, if you create that for mobile, you label it, oh, mobile modal for success. Then when you are creating that of desktop, you know it has, you create something for desktop, create something for tablet. So when you are trying to design it to be scalable, and sometimes I've seen people go very crazy on Figma, whereby the same model for mobile, they'll use it for desktop, whereby the screen will be, it will have breakpoints. So when they expand it, it increases in size, and when you decrease, but that is more stressful to do. And most times, sometimes the icons might stretch to an ugly size. So it's better to just create that for you are not creating two different design systems. You do it on that same component, just like how I showed. That model to create a component set, call it mobile, call it desktop, call it tablet, and that will solve for every and any screen you are trying to design. I don't know if that answers your question. All right. All right. Thank you. I'm back to the facilitator.
All right. So probably the next workshop is going to be next month. We just find the topic and we go into it. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. I look forward to the next session.